up. Please don't be mad at me. All right. We're all blessed to be part of the greatest country in the world. We hold freedoms that citizens in other countries can only dream of. One major freedom that we each possess is the right for our voices to be heard through the right to vote. After the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776, voting began, and it was limited to landowners alone. When we look at voting today, we can tell just how far our country has come since its birth. You couldn't have missed the huge election that took place in our country just a few weeks ago, and I have to ask, are you happy with the results? Whether you answered yes or whether you answered no, another question I have to ask is, did you go out to the polls and let your voice be heard? Statistics show that over 90 million eligible American voters did not go out and vote in the 2016 presidential election. But why? Common excuses would be that my vote won't count anyways, or that I'm way too busy to go out and there's long lines to vote. But I'm here to tell you that your vote will matter, and that you should go out and let your voice be heard. I researched various websites and found just how important it is to exercise your right to vote. Despite the busyness and differences of opinion in today's society, every American citizen should vote. When we choose to vote, we are choosing to preserve our nation's history, as well as answering our own personal needs and the needs of the country as a whole. Throughout history, many people have fought and died for our right to vote. As you can tell in the history books, voting hasn't always just been the normal for our country. After the signing of the Declaration of Independence, voting was limited to only landowners, and because of situations in society back in the day, that was also limited to basically white males. According to Constitutional Rights Foundation, that left only about 10 to 20% of early America eligible to vote at all. After the Civil War, 100 years after voting began, the movements began to allow all American citizens to be able to vote. The 15th Amendment achieved this goal. However, women were left out of this amendment and were left fighting for their right to vote. According to Columbia Electronic Encyclopedia, the 19th Amendment that allowed women to vote would not be passed until 1920. That's 144 years that women had to fight for their right to vote. History.com says that Susan B. Anthony, which was a huge women's advocate for voting, voted illegally in the 1872 presidential election, in which she was tried and convicted in court for her actions. Susan B. Anthony would sadly die before she would see the 19th Amendment be passed that would give her the right to vote. It is because of passionate people throughout history that we even have this right to vote. By educating ourselves of candidates and exercising our right to vote, we are respecting the people who put their lives on the line for our right that we often take for granted. Voting is a staple in American history, and it should be celebrated, prioritized, and exercised. Now that you know what voting means for our country's history, you might be wondering what it means for you as an individual. According to nonprofit Vote.org, voting brings many positive benefits to voters. Voting gives voters the satisfaction of knowing that they let their voice be heard. Voting is a form of personal empowerment that gives you the opportunity to let your views be heard for you, your family, and for your community. I know you've heard the saying that you cannot complain about who wins if you didn't vote. Well, voting gives you that right. According to Yes Magazine, being politically active is linked to greater well-being and life satisfaction. Who would have thought that being politically active would be linked with the ultimate goal that we all have, and that would be life satisfaction? According to MassVote.org, voting gives a greater sense of being able to impact the world. So how can we impact the world around us through voting? Your vote is important to the world around you. It allows you to put your beliefs and your views into action. By researching candidates, you can see whose candidates' views align with your own views, and it gives you the opportunity to put someone in office who will have a platform that aligns with your views. By choosing not to vote, you strip yourself away from the ability to put someone in office who will speak for you. In conclusion, you should vote. When you choose to vote, you're choosing to preserve and respect our nation's history, you're bettering yourself as well as the world around you. People often think that their vote doesn't matter, that it won't even make a difference, but choosing to vote is choosing to take a stand. Choosing to vote is allowing your voice to be heard and your views to be brought to life. Remember, voting is history. Voting is beneficial for you and for the world around you.